Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hart, and today I'll be breaking down the 4-game NBA slate we have here on Thursday night on DraftKings. 100K up top to first place, so a ton of money for us to make. I'll be going over my favorite spin-up plays, mid-range plays, and value/dart throws. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Truly appreciate all the support, especially if you subscribe, hit that like button. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by Thanksgiving, so let's get into the slate breakdown. As always, follow me on Twitter, HartDFS, but we're going to start off with this Dallas and Brooklyn game. At the top for Dallas is obviously Luka, 12,000. Looks solid. Obviously, we know Luka's usage rate is over 30%, kind of floating around that 35% range every game. We know he has massive triple-double upside. 12,000 is pretty expensive. Now, there is some value on the slate, but as of right now, I think it's just a little too expensive for me to get up to. Christian Wood has been fantastic off the bench. Nice to see him play 29 minutes versus the Pelicans. Even in a few amount of shots, 15 is good, 12 is solid, 10 not something you want for someone who's 7,500, but he's been very efficient. He gets to the free throw line a good amount as well. Versus Brooklyn, they have a small front court. I don't mind going here at 7,500. We want to attack Brooklyn. They're just very bad at defense, so he looks decent in that spot. Dinwiddie, I have a little bit of interest in Dinwiddie, 5,500. The minutes are there. Obviously, they got extended in that game against the Pelicans because it was pretty close. But he's going to see close to 30 minutes. His usage is pretty solid usage from him. He is a little scoring dependent at times, so if he's not hitting his shots, he could really tank your lineup. So 5,500, I don't think you have to look to him. It's more just a contrarian play. Hardaway Jr. is questionable. That's why Dinwiddie got a little bit of extra run. So if he's out again, you can definitely look to Dinwiddie. Finney Smith, 4,500. Just one of those things. Like if he's hitting his shots, hitting a couple threes, catches fire, he can rebound and get some assists. But otherwise, I have really no interest in any of these guys on the bench or the secondary guys for Dallas. There's just the minutes are all just floating around. 15 to 25. They just don't have a ton of usage. You can always take a dart throw on McGee. Maybe it gets extended because he is a good point per minute guy, but really don't have any interest on any of these guys. Going on to Brooklyn, we have KD at the top. 10K is a very solid price for KD. Hasn't had like a smash game yet. The minutes are there, shot attempts are there. It's just kind of waiting for that smash game. This looks like a great matchup for him. Not really sure who's going to be able to guard him. Kyrie looks solid. Always prefer getting to KD just because he is a little bit more. He's more of a safer floor compared to Kyrie because, KD's better getting rebounds and assists, blocks and steals. But Kyrie looks like a decent pivot play off of KD. Ben Simmons, as I always mention, you just need him to score above 10 points. If he does, he's really going to pay off his salary. He's still getting back into the swing of things. I know everyone's, kind of crapping on him, but I do think we'll start seeing, solid Ben Simmons games. So if you want to, get early on the field, don't mind taking a shot here against Dallas. Claxton, 6K. Looks decent. The first 3 games, pretty much 30 or above, and fantasy point wise, a little bit of a down game there against Milwaukee. I don't mind going there at 6K. Royce O'Neal, he actually looks decent, 4,700. Not the best price tag, but he's shooting the ball a ton, 3 of 12, 4-13. You kind of expect, he's a decent shooter, especially from 3. So if he's, making a few more shots, could easily pay off that price tag of 4,700. Minutes are there. He's solid at getting blocks, as you can see, and steals. So don't mind taking him in this spot. Looks pretty decent. Joe Harris, minutes have started to come up a little bit. Just very score independent. So I don't really think he had to go there. And that really does it for, the Brooklyn side. Sharp's the backup center. Mills is backup. Markieff might be questionable. Maybe he plays. If he does, maybe you could take a dart throw there. Maybe he's 10 to 15 minutes, but I don't know if he plays enough to kind of get you there. Going on to LAC and OKC. Paul George is questionable with the illness. So this is huge news. We have to keep an eye on this because obviously if he's out, you're going to want to load up on these value. The Clipper guys, I know they absolutely failed the other day, especially Norman Powell. We'll get to him, but Paul George is in, good to go against OKC. Think he makes for one of the best spend-ups, if not an absolute lock for today. So as of right now, about 7 hours until lock. We'll get news, obviously, before these games start. But right now, do think he's a lock because Kawhi Leonard is still out. So Obviously, Paul George, you want to get him in there because he's not have over 30% usage for this team. Zubac, once again, if he's playing 35 minutes, he smashes. If he plays less than that, he's not going to do anything. So it's just one of those things. It's more of a coin flip if he's going to get 35 minutes or not. It obviously did help out that a lot of people were out and he was doing very well. He also got 7 blocks and 5 blocks. So it's just one of those things. Very hard to trust because, that's 10 points right there. And that's 14 points extra right there. So Zubac just looks okay at 6,500. Obviously has double-double upside. Norman Powell, just god awful. I don't know what happened to him. Last year he was fantastic. This year he just can't make anything. 2 of 8, 1 of 10, 4 of 9, 3 of 10. But I don't mind running it back here with him. He'll still be popular. But I think a lot of the public will be off of him just because how badly he's burned us the past 4 games. So 5,500, don't mind taking a shot once again. Norman Powell, we know he's a solid shooter, good scorer. So, but 5,500, he's gonna have a ton of usage alongside Paul George. So don't mind it as a nice, very contrarian play. Reggie Jackson, Paul George is back. He looks solid, 5,400. Obviously, Paul George is going to command a ton of the usage, but I do expect Reggie and Powell to kind of be those secondary scorers. So he'll play, close to 30 minutes. Got it 4 of 17, so that's obviously terrible. Would have had a very solid game. So 5,400 looks good for him. We just kind of have to wait on that Paul George news. If Paul George is out, do you think you want to play at least both Powell and Jackson? John Wall looks decent, 5,400. It's just he's not going to get a ton of minutes, maybe 25 at most. So yeah, I mean, he can definitely get you there in that amount of time, but 5,400 for that price for a guy who's only playing 25 minutes, don't think you have to force that. Marquise Morris is still going to be out. So Covington, 4,800, price came up. Don't know if I'm going to get there. Maybe if Paul George is out, you can definitely look to Covington again. Only saw 21 minutes. Obviously, that game blew out in the end. Maybe would have saw more towards 25, but he's solid at getting those steals and blocks, which are very helpful on DraftKings. 2 points each, or maybe it's 3. But yeah, he looks decent if all those guys are out. Terrence Mann got the start, played 26 minutes. He's just more of a defense guy. Can definitely get you there, but 4,700, not for me. Who else we got here? Luke Kennard played 29 minutes. Good shooter, kind of just solid scorer. Can get you some of those peripherals, but I think he'd be my favorite. Spin down play on the Clippers. Batum is just absolutely washed. Coffee got 26 minutes, but not a high usage guy. So yeah, I mean, it pretty much just comes down to if Paul George is going to play. If he does, I'd say load up on Paul George and then Norman Powell. If he doesn't, then obviously load up on Reggie Jackson and Norman Powell. OKC, SGA just looks fantastic. Revenge game narrative for him. Playing a ton of minutes, shooting the ball very, very well. Getting to the free throw line a lot as well. Hasn't missed a free throw yet. So he looks fantastic. 57, 42, 63. An absolute beast. Don't mind running here. He's always low owned too. Not really sure why people are sleeping on him, but he's been fantastic. Giddy's also out. So all the usage is for SGA. Lou Dort, 5,700. Looks decent. Absolutely laid a goose egg in that last game against OKC or LAC. So you can definitely go to him for a nice bounce back. Should have a decent amount of usage alongside SGA. Same thing with Trey Mann. More of a shooter. Shot it 24 times. 2 of 8 from 3. So I don't mind running back here with him. He's pretty solid. Obviously, SGA commands a ton of usage, but Lou Dort and Trey Mann are going to eat up all of the rest of it. Earl played 23 minutes. Looked okay. Everyone else, and it's just kind of dart throws on all these backups. Poku only played 17 minutes. Muscala got there in 18, 25. If you want to take a dart throw there, you can, but I just don't really trust it. Wiggins was very solid, played 28 minutes, shot it 14 times, 11 of 10, 3 steals. A little bit of an outlier. He is a solid scorer, but I don't know if he's going to get 10 rebounds once again. Kendrick, 25 minutes. I'd say I prefer him. He's kind of more of that point forward who can do a little bit of everything. Basley did decent. Dieng played 10 minutes. So yeah, it just kind of comes down to, playing pretty much SGA, Lou Dort, and Trey Mann. And then if you want to take a dart throw on one of these value guys, you can. I'd say Williams or Wiggins are my favorite. Miami, Golden State, this should be a great game to watch. Jimmy actually looks pretty solid here. 8,600 prices come down a little bit. Hasn't really flashed a huge upside Jimmy game. kind of taking more of a backseat, letting Tyler Hero do his thing. But in these primetime matchups, Jimmy does, tend to do very well. So I don't mind him at 8,600. Bam, 7,300. Looks okay. Still haven't seen a ceiling game from Bam yet. Tyler Hero, 7,200. Kind of priced up there for me. I mean, he does have some upside. Looks okay against Golden State. Obviously, Golden State's given up a ton of points. I think they've given up 70-plus points in every game so far at halftime. So you can definitely target OKC's defense, Golden State Warriors defense. Kyle Lowry, 5,800. Don't think you get to do it, Strus coming off the bench. Minutes are going up there. Good score. So if he's hitting shots, he's easily going to get you there. Kind of more of just like a dart throw almost, because, he can get you 33, 35, or he's going to get you, 4 to 15 fantasy points. So looks decent against Golden State. Don't mind Caleb Martin, kind of a gritty guy, can do a little bit of everything, can do steals, but not the best price on him. Gabe Vincent, looks okay. If Kyle Lowry does bad or, gets in foul trouble, Gabe Vincent's minutes are going to go up. So you could, look to him at 4,000 as a decent value option. Don't think you have to go to Deadman, and that's really it on the Miami side. Kind of just prefer Jimmy. That's really it. Golden State Warriors, Steph looks great at 9.9. Obviously, his ceiling is kind of limited when it comes to assists and rebounds, even though he's been doing pretty solid. Just really need him to score 30-plus points. And he definitely do it in this matchup. Wiggins looks good. He's been very consistent and solid for them, so I don't mind going there. I think Poole's my favorite play on the Warriors side. I do expect his minutes to start slowly going up. He's obviously a guy who's very good at scoring. A little score independent as well, so 5,900 I think is a solid price for him. Draymond had a Draymond game last game. Don't think we can trust that. He's pretty hot and cold. So if you want to go there, you can. Maybe he steps up in this prime matchup, but want to go there. Maybe Clay has a chip on his shoulder. He's getting close to that 30-minute mark. He's been very, very bad, all throughout the playoffs and this year. So if you want to take that dart throw, he's going to have zero ownership. 5,600 is a steal on Clay if, he can get returned back to normal. Don't mind taking that dart throw today just because, he got thrown out last game. He's been playing very bad. No one's going to be on him. So if you want to go to him at 5,600, I think it's very solid. I don't mind taking a shot here on James Wiseman as well, 4,300. They're kind of running him with the starters in that first quarter, halfway through it. Going to stay around 20 minutes, but he looks very, very good while he's out there. Prefer him over Kevon Looney. Don't really think you need to get to any of these guys. Moody's been playing a little bit more minutes every game. He's just kind of score independent. Really does it for me. Last game, Ja, absolute lock. He's got about a 36% usage rate so far this season. And as you can see, minutes are there, shot attempts are there. Been absolutely fantastic. 53 fantasy points, 73, 30. They obviously got blown out against Dallas, and then 63.5 against Brooklyn. They're going against this, poor defense of the Kings. Absolute joke. Josh should absolutely feast. Desmond Bane, 7K. Looks decent. Had a career high in points last game. Otherwise, he's kind of been hot and cold. So I don't mind, running there if you want to do like a game stack. Steven Adams, 5,400. Don't think you do that. You really need that double-double upside, and sometimes you just can't score. He can get you some blocks at times, but I think it's a little bit of a force. Dylan Brooks looks okay. He's back. Limited on the minutes. Did shoot it 13 times. A little bit of, kind of score independent, so I don't think he had to go there. Santi looks decent. He's playing the minutes. They're still safe. Has double-double upside. Don't mind it there against the Kings. Pretty cheap price tag from 5,200. Tyus Jones, going to play around 25 minutes. Solid. So if you want to go there 4,600, don't mind it. Conchar is questionable. He's been seeing about 20 to 25 minutes a game. If he's out, I think that might give some more minutes to a guy like Brandon Clark off the bench, a guy like Jake LaRuvia, but I just don't really think any of those guys are worth it. And then on the King side, surprisingly, De'Aaron Fox has been very, very good this year. I've always liked him. Thought he could be easily an all-star if he just improves his game. It looks like he's kind of taken that step this year. He's had over a 30% usage rate in every game so far, so looks pretty solid going against Memphis. Should be a very fast-paced game, shooting the ball a ton, so I like him a good amount. Nice to see him getting a bunch of assists and rebounds as well. So He's averaging 31.7 points per game right now. Really like this hot streak that Fox is on, so I don't mind that as a run back against John Morant. Sabonis 8,200 looks very good against this Memphis front court. Minutes, have been, all over the place. He got benched pretty much in that Golden State game because the backups, they were down a little bit. Backups came in and they were doing well, so they decided just to leave Sabonis off the bench. But in 22 minutes, that man had 45.5 fantasy points. So price hasn't changed. Matchup is even better. I really like him. I do think he's a nice, solid core play for me today. And then Keegan Murray looks pretty solid, 5,500, ton of minutes. Slightly scoring dependent, but I do think he can easily get there. 5,500 in this matchup looks great as well. Don't think he'd get to Harrison Barnes, especially with the addition of Keegan Murray that kind of eats into his usage. You can definitely take a dart throw on Kevin Huerter. He has the minutes. It just comes down if he's hitting the shots. Malik Monk, more of a dart throw, got more minutes, more run just because of that blowout. Did very well in that, but I just don't think you get to trust that. David Mitchell, no. That's really it. It's kind of just the two main guys at the top for me and going down to Keegan Murray at 5,500. So my core plays for today are going to be John Morant, Sabonis, and then if Paul George is, ruled in, I think, you can definitely throw Paul George in there. 4,400 obviously is not a ton to use with, a ton left over. So you can definitely, I'd say, out of these three, if you had to drop someone, I'd say drop Sabonis, and then my core plays would be Ja and Paul George. But that does it for today, guys. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.